What's up, guys?
Hey, Marlon, change of opponent, but still fight week here in Boston. Big spotlight on the division. How excited are you to get back in there and compete on Saturday?
I'm excited, man. I'm healthy. I'm happy, and when my opponent pulled out, Cejudo, the first thing I just asked was for given opponent. I want to maintain the date. I just want to. I don't want to sit around and just wait. I mean, what's the point? I'm healthy. I'm training every day, so the more reps I get, the better I get. So let's roll.
Cejudo's obviously a former champion. That would have been a great win to have on the resume, but like you said, it was important for you to remain on the card. How did you react to getting Pedro as an opponent?
I mean, I went through the rankings, kind of like asked what was available. My first ask was like, why not fight Jan, right? It's a great date. But I think he said he won't fight till the end of the year, and I was like, I ain't waiting till the end of the year. I like to fight 3 times a year, and I get things get slow in the top, but I was just like, who's available? And it's like, and they called me one day, so like, Pedro already took it, so I was like, fuck it, why not?
Do you like this fight better? In a way, he's another durable guy. He's been a lot of fun fights. He's never been finished, so it creates a different challenge there. Do you like this matchup stylistically better than Cejudo?
I mean, fuck, you guys know. They can change the opponent on Saturday morning. I'm cool with that. I don't trip like that. So I like the fact that I have a fight. I mean, if it's Cejudo, Pedro, or fucking whoever from anywhere, I'm down. And I'm glad I get to fight. I'm glad I get to get paid. I'm glad I get to compete. And I mean, it's still a tough guy. It's still a dangerous fight, right? Like, I could easily don't take it, but I like to risk everything always. And I'm the guy that I roll the dice, and I get lucky most of the time.
Last one for me. This is an important fight to stay in the mix in the division, especially with the title on the line in the main event. If Aljamain wins, he says he's probably going to move up and vacate. And if Sean wins the title, it could actually set up a massive second fight between you and him for the belt. So is there a part of you hoping Sean does win on Saturday? And how do you see that fight playing out?
I mean, if we talk about the last 10 opponents of each guy, right? All you had the hard road, right? He went from a guy that people don't really want to see fight to like get a title shot, win the belt in a way that people didn't like, but he went through the hard way, and he keep winning. And there's a lot of things that happen along the way, right? A lot of people thought he got handled the decision with Jan the second time. Then he fought TJ, and TJ was hurt, and it's just a lot of shit going to the guy, right? But he keeps winning, and he keeps maintaining that belt, so good for him. In the other side, they did more like a little bit of a boxing record for O'Malley. I mean, when they set me up to fight him the first time, it was pretty much his first test, right? And you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, you still got in TKO. The referee still pulled me out, so I don't, cause much damage. And I mean, you can say whatever you want, but the facts are there. And then he fought Munhoz. It was an eye poke. And then he went straight to fight for #1 contender against #1 guy in Jan at the time. And the guy was, is a striker versus striker, but the one is, pretty big for the other guy. So style-wise, it was perfect for him. So good for him, Some people got to go a little harder than others. So in terms of in paper, all you should win. But it's a fight. So if he lands first, he punch hard. I've been in front of him. I know he got power, he got good speed, but the arsenal is very limited in my opinion. It's a one at a time type of guy, and we'll see if he can really fight. But if he wins, I mean, make my life a little easier. I can also jump the ladder just like he did, and I know it's business, so either side I'm cool. I am focused on fucking Munhoz. That's all I need to worry about till Saturday midnight. After that, we'll figure it out.
Well, after your last fight, there were some accusations at you from fans and stuff that you're maybe not active enough in there and you don't go for it enough. Is that something that you recognize and agree with, or you disagree with? And if so, what do you do to correct that?
In my opinion, I took that loss very personal. I took the loss like it was pretty much my fault. That was a shit fight. When I rewatched it, I was like, fuck, that was a poor fight. I text Dana myself and I say, I apologize. I'm like, sorry, dude, you don't pay me to fucking fight like that. But the best way to describe it, it was like, camp was great. I was healthy. And in 21 fights in the UFC, I never came with an excuse. I fucking hate when people blame it on the manager, on the coach, on my mom wasn't there, my dad, whatever, right? I'm not that guy. Even if I have something going on, I will never speak it out because it just sounds like an excuse. The best way to tell it, I felt sick. I just wasn't myself that night, and it's still landing good shots. It's still, if you see the faces, I still making a little more damage, but I kind of like I lose to myself. It was a weird one, and I just turned the page, went back to the gym, and say, "Fuck it." The only way to get over with that feeling is winning this weekend. So that's why I asked for this date, and I say, "Send me a contract with a name. Doesn't matter who it is." And this weekend, I'm gonna make it better.
Do you think that's something that no one can really appreciate, maybe even other fighters, until they experience it, right? Like Charles Oliveira said the same thing when he fought Islam. He's like, hey, that just wasn't me that night. Is that something that until you're in there and just nothing's really clicking, you can't really understand?
It's really hard to predict that, right? Because you wake up in the morning and you feel the nerves just like any other person. But even when I did the shakeout, I was out of balance. I was kind of like pushing things, and I just didn't feel great. And I was like, well, that's a shitty feeling. I guess I gotta dig deep tonight. And I pushed the pace. I mean, the first 2 rounds, I was flat. Those takedowns, I was like, I wasn't even reacting. It was like almost like my pop would come at times, but then it will also like be gone for a while. So it's life, right? Sometimes you get bumps in the road. Sometimes it's a test to see how strong you are and how you can come back from moments like that. And fuck it, this Saturday, I'm gonna go for.
You sort of made reference to it, and we're talking a bit hypothetical here, but say Sean won and you won on Saturday, and they did rebook that fight again. It feels like it could be a massive fight, right? Now, both your star profile has risen since the first time you fought. Is that something you'd be excited about? Not just fighting him again, but fighting him again on a massive stage?
100%. That's just money right there, and I don't left money on the table. I mean, if we go and win this Saturday, we can fight November, December, next month. I mean, anytime. And I know that will be this is a great payday for both, and it's business. If we win on Saturday night, that fight's happening. So the rest of the top 5 can just sit and wait. It's business.
Hey, Marlon, obviously you've been a ranked opponent for a really long time in the division, so has Pedro Munhoz. We asked him earlier, how long has he envisioned a fight with you? Same thing, how long have you kind of had him on your radar?
Honestly, I called him out once. When I fought John Lineker in Brazil, I called him out that one time to fight in that card because I didn't have a fight coming up, so I was like, I went kind of through the rankings, and I was like, hey, you want to fight? And then my management told me, oh, he's fighting in Font that night. So I was like, cool. And I kind of literally forget about that specific fight. And our careers went different ways, right? At some point, when he fought Sterling, at that time, he was ready for a title shot. He fell short in that decision. And then we kind of been when he's been in the top 5, I was in the top 15. Then when I got to the top 5, he was kind of lower. And right now it was just whoever was available. And he was available, I was available, and it just happened. But I wasn't really thinking for a long time about fighting him or really anybody else.
You've been on a nice run recently. You're fighting in main events, taking on higher-ranked guys like Dominic Cruz, Corey Sandhagen. Him, on the other hand, he's lost 4 of his last 6 fights. When you view him, do you still view a top contender, or do you see a guy that might be showing signs of decline?
I mean, you see a little bit of decline, and age doesn't lie, right? He's 37, 36. So, I'm the younger person, and I'm somebody that just hit his prime, and I'm getting just better by fight. But I mean, you can take it easy, and you can't just get loose in there and thinking, nah, it's gonna be easy. He's a little slower. He's still gonna try to fuck me and take my head off. So I'm aware of that, and I'm not fucking around. I really want to win, and I train just as hard like I was training for Cejudo. I mean, anybody can beat you in any given day, especially if you're kind of like loose and taking it easy. I don't fucking do that.
And last question for me, I look over his record. It looks like he's never been stopped in his career. Do you think you could be the first person to stop him, and are you expecting it?
I don't even think about that. I mean, when I fight somebody, I don't go over how many times they get submitted, KO, or how many decisions. Once I'm in that cage, I'm just fighting for my fucking life, and I'm putting everything in the line. So I'm not looking forward for the knockout. That's why you get a lot of those. But I'm just trying to win. That's all that matters.
Chito, aquí en español, ¿cómo vas?
¿Todo bien tú?
Bien, bien. Oye, estaba supuesto a pelear contra Henry Cejudo, obviamente un hombre bien grande, ex campeón. Pedro Munhoz sigue siendo un hombre reconocido, pero de pronto no tiene el prestigio que tiene Henry. Pero también muchos fans están viendo esa pelea como una pelea más vistosa, ya que Pedro le gusta guerrear. En tu opinión, ¿cuál era la pelea que más querías? ¿La de Henry o estás más contento con esta con Pedro?
Yo creo que en temas de negocios y en temas de los rankings, obviamente ganarle a Henry era mucho más grande, pero al punto en el que estoy ahorita, que he venido peleando varios main events, he estado en el top 5, estuve número 3 por un tiempo, solo necesito ganar, y yo creo que eso es lo más importante ahorita, ¿no? Sacar una victoria y seguir subiendo en esos rankings y ver qué pasa con el main event del sábado, porque si gano yo y Sean, es muy probable que peleemos. Así que ahorita solo hay una meta y es ganar.
Sí. ¿Y qué tan lejos te ves del título? Porque antes de la pelea de San Antonio todo el mundo decía que Chito es el siguiente, Chito es el siguiente. ¿Crees que consigues una victoria acá y ya estás en esa conversación nuevamente?
Es muy probable. Todos sabemos cómo funciona esto, ¿no? Ganas un par de peleas y te conviertes invencible para el público. Después medio pierdes por una decisión y como que se olvidan de ti, pero es como lidias con eso, ¿no? Yo realmente no estoy viendo mucho quién en serio está con el hype o eso, porque eso va y viene mucho, ¿no? Al final del día hay que mantener y estoquear esas victorias, porque eso es lo que realmente te va a mantener ahí y te va a dar el cinturón.
Sí. Y ya lo hablaste en inglés, pero si nos puedes explicar en español, ¿qué pasó ahí en San Antonio contra Cory Sandhagen? Porque muchas personas decían, ese no es el Chito que conocemos, ¿no? El Chito que conocemos marcha hacia adelante, castiga, le gusta guerrear. Si nos puedes hablar un poquito de ese desempeño y lo que pasó ahí.
Es como lo decía, no hay una excusa, no hubo realmente un problema, no hubo una lesión. Simplemente esa noche fue como estar enfermo, no tenía como que mi pop en los golpes, no tenía como que esa explosividad para defender los derribos y simplemente no estaba ahí. Era como que mi mente estaba, como que yo veía las cosas y decía, aquí voy a hacer lo que normalmente hago, y como que se desvanecía la energía. Y yo decía, era raro, fue un sentimiento muy raro. Era como que si alguien me estaba jalando y no me dejaba trabajar, pero así es la vida, ¿qué se puede hacer?
Sí. Oye, y por último, danos una predicción del evento estelar, obviamente una pelea pues, de campeonato súper importante para tu categoría.
Yo creo que en papel Sterling debería agarrarlo y graplearlo, y dudo que tenga el cardio que tenemos nosotros para poder estar parte y pelea, pero por otro lado, si él sí tiene ese golpe de sorpresa, ese finta y tira un par fuerte, pero hay que ver qué pasa, ¿no? Yo me inclino un poco más por Sterling, pero realmente es como que mitad, ya que Sterling ha dicho que se va a ir y todo eso, y todo eso significa que ya está cansado de cortar peso, y hay que ver si no llega a esta pelea como que sin muchas ganas. Hay que ver.
Gracias.
Chito por acá, perdón. ¿Cómo estás? Bueno, quería preguntarte también, ¿cómo, tomando en cuenta que se ha hablado mucho aquí en el salón, porque antes estuvo Pedro Munhoz estuvo ahí arriba, de lo parecidos que son ustedes como peleadores, de que a los dos les gusta más estar parados e intercambiar golpes, y de que también los dos tienen buena mandíbula, buena quijada y son buenos para aguantar golpes? ¿Cómo visualizas tú o cómo ves tu pelea del sábado ante Pedro, sobre todo en el primer round, desde el inicio?
Pues yo creo que simplemente tengo que ser el peleador más inteligente, tomar mejores decisiones, ¿no? Él ha hecho una buena carrera usando su mentón, usando como que su durabilidad para pelear, pero yo por otro lado tengo buen mentón, pero trato de no usarlo, ¿no? Entonces la clave en esta pelea es ser más inteligente, ¿no? A tocar, moverse y buscar la forma de ganar, porque yo no estoy planeando entrar ahí e intercambiar con él. Mi plan es diferente, así que yo sé que no, como que tal vez nos puedan comparar, pero somos dos peleadores muy distintos y en mi opinión soy el peleador más inteligente y más joven.
Tomando en cuenta que también, aparte de tu pelea con Pedro Munhoz, también va a estar peleando Aljo, por supuesto, con Sugar Sean. ¿Qué tanto crees que pueda cambiar el panorama de la división de peso gallo después de este día sábado?
Yo creo que una victoria me puede posicionar en el ranking, me podría ayudar a subir un par de posiciones, pero en caso que eso no pase, yo creo que ganar me tiene ahí parqueado para esperar por una pelea por el título.
Gracias, Chito.
Gracias a ti.
Marlon, right here. Just it's been 3 years since you and Sean O'Malley fought each other, which is kind of crazy to think about. But for you, watching his fights, how have you seen him maybe grow and change since you guys stepped in the cage together?
I mean, he's a great fighter. You know, he have good pop in the hands. He moves well. In my understanding, his jiu-jitsu is pretty good. But I just haven't seen him in front of like good competition, right? Like in terms of styles, you know, you can fight number one guy, but how you get to the number one spot, right? Who you beat before the fight? I mean, before his fight with Jan, he poked Pedro in the eye, right? And that's not Pedro's fault. And then before that, all the guys he fought was like they were so dismatched in terms of like level. Like when he fought the green haired kid, I mean that guy was a punching bag. Tough kid, but how many fights he got in the UFC? 2 fights, and then he got stopped in his second chance. So it's like when you see the caliber and competition in front of you, like, I mean, why you never fought a guy like Son Yadong or Font or Sanhagen? So it's like it's hard to really see what you're made of when you're just fighting guys that they're supposed to just get in there and take a couple shots and just fall, because that's what most of his opponents did. I mean, Eddie won, and God bless the guy. He got a great career, but fuck, he's been KO like 20 times. I mean, it's just hard to really see what's on him, because the only really few guys that he fought, he either lost or get a no contest, and then the Jan fight, I rewatched it, and it's really, I mean, I don't know how you scored that for him, but good for him again. I mean, if you can get it like that, get it. Why not?
And same for you. You know, obviously you're a veteran in this game, but that fight kind of felt like a catalyst for you, and you've beaten some very talented fighters since there. So how does that fight maybe, you know, do you look at that as like a fight that maybe kind of propelled you a little bit at all, or, you know, was it just another fight?
For me, it was just another fight. I feel like it gave me like kind of like more eyes on the TikTok world, on the YouTube world, but I mean, that's what it is. I feel the fight that really set me up for all this greatness and all these good things happening in my life is the Frankie Edgar KO in MSG. That's when really my life changed. And, you know, beating O'Malley was just beating a contender series guy that was kind of popular. That was about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good? Thank you, guys.